The Turkish armed forces are the military forces of the Republic of Turkey. Turkish armed forces consist of the General Staff, the Land Forces, the Naval Forces and the Air Forces. The current Chief of the General Staff is General Yasir Güler. The Chief of the General Staff is the Commander of the Armed Forces. In wartime, the Chief of the General Staff acts as the Commander-in-Chief on behalf of the President, who represents the Supreme Military Command of the TAF on behalf of the Grand National Assembly of Turkey, coordinating the military relations of the TAF with other NATO member states and friendly states is the responsibility of the General Staff. The modern history of the army began with its formation after the collapse of the Ottoman Empire. The Turkish military perceived itself as the guardian of Kemalism, the official state ideology, especially of its emphasis on secularism. After becoming a member of NATO in 1952, Turkey initiated a comprehensive modernization program for its armed forces. The Turkish army sent troops to fight in the Korean War. Towards the end of the 1980s, a second restructuring process was initiated. The Turkish armed forces participate in an EU battle group under the control of the European Council, the Italian-Romanian-Turkish battle group. The TAF also contributes operational staff to the Eurocorps Multinational Army Corps initiative of the EU and NATO. The Turkish Armed Forces is the second largest standing military force in NATO, after the US Armed Forces, with an estimated strength in 2015 of 639,551 military, civilian and paramilitary personnel. Turkey is one of 5 NATO member states which are part of the nuclear sharing policy of the alliance. Together with Belgium, Germany, Italy, and the Netherlands, a total of 90 B-61 nuclear bombs are hosted at the Incirlik Air Base. 40 of these are allocated for use by the Turkish Air Force in case of a nuclear conflict. But their use requires the approval of NATO. After the end of World War I, following the occupation of Anatolia by Entente powers, many Ottoman military personnel escaped from Rumelia to Anatolia in order to join the new Turkish national movement. Was appointed the Minister of the Chief of General Staff of the government of the Grand National Assembly. There were several rebellions Southeastern Turkey in the 1920s and 1930s. The most important of which were the 1925 Sheikh Said Rebellion and the 1937 Dersim Rebellion. All were suppressed by the TAF, sometimes involving large-scale mobilizations of up to 50,000 troops. Associated atrocities against civilians include the Zilan massacre. Turkey remained neutral until the final stages of World War II. In the initial stage of World War II, Turkey signed a treaty of mutual assistance with Great Britain and France. But after the fall of France, the Turkish government tried to maintain an equal distance with both the Allies and the Axis. Following Nazi Germany's occupation of the Balkans, upon which the Axis controlled territory in Thrace and the eastern islands of the Aegean Sea bordered Turkey, the Turkish government signed a treaty of friendship and non-aggression with Germany on the 18th of June 1941. After the German invasion of the Soviet Union, the Turkish government sent a military delegation of observers under Lieutenant General Ali Fuat Erdogan to Germany and the Eastern Front. After the German retreat from the Caucasus, the Turkish government moved closer to the Allies and Winston Churchill secretly met with İsmet İnönü at the Adana Conference in Yeni train station in southern Turkey on 30 January 1943, with the intent of persuading Turkey to join the war on the side of the Allies. A few days before the start of Operation Zitadel in July 1943, the Turkish government sent a military delegation under General Kamil Kahit Özdemir to Russia and observed the exercises of the 503rd Heavy Panzer Battalion and its equipment. But after the failure of Operation Zitadel, the Turkish government participated in the Second Cairo Conference in December 1943, where Franklin D. Roosevelt, Churchill and İnönü reached an agreement on issues regarding Turkey's possible contribution to the Allies. On 23 February 1945, Turkey joined the Allies by declaring war against Germany and Japan. After it was announced at the Yalta Conference that only the states which were formally at war with Germany and Japan by 1 March 1945 would be admitted to the United Nations. Turkey participated in the Korean War as a member state of the United Nations and sent the Turkish Brigade, which suffered 731 losses in combat, to South Korea. On the 18th of February 1952, Turkey became a member of NATO. The South Korean government donated a war memorial for the Turkish soldiers who fought and died in Korea. The Korean pagoda is in Ankara and it was donated in 1973 for the 50th anniversary of the Turkish Republic. On the 20th of July 1974, the TAF launched an amphibious and airborne assault operation on Cyprus. In response to the